Hello, it's Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm here with the Ornate Garden Suite. This is a little preview from Stampin' Up. It will be in our annual catalog that's coming up, but they've made some of these products available now. There are two bundles. There is the Ornate Thanks bundle, which includes this die set and this stamp set. There's also a package of specialty paper. And there's the Ornate Style bundle, which includes the frames and the floral set. And then we also have a few additional accessories down here at the bottom. There's a embossing folder ribbon and the glittered gems. Today I'm going to be using the Ornate Thanks bundle. It comes with the Ornate Borders dies and the Ornate Thanks stamp set. You can go to my blog, mystamplady.com, to download a printable flyer, and that will show you all of the products included in this Ornate bundle release. So we're going to start with this set right here. And I love the thank yous. I love the little sentiments that go along with the thank yous. I will also be using the Daisy Lane stamp set. This is found in the annual catalog. I'm going to show you how I made this thank you card with the Daffodil Delight daisies and the Mint Macaron thank you. I am substituting this border die from the Magnolia Memories dies. At the time I filmed this video, the Ornate Borders dies were on low inventory and possibly going into back order. So I'm just showing you can make it with an additional border also. With the Country Floral 3D folder, I'm going to emboss the card front of this Mint Macaron cardstock. And you have a gorgeous, beautiful floral impression onto the front of the cardstock. Now most of it's going to be covered up, but you will still in real life be able to tell that it's there. So with my piece of Whisper White cardstock, this is the main focal piece. It's 4 by 5.5 inches to start with. I am going to set it up to just use that little border die to cut off the bottom edge. And I've done this first so that I know where to line up my stamping. I have found when I have straight dies like this that lining them up perpendicular to my roller on my machine works a little better than if I put it parallel. For some reason it just cuts better, I get a better cut. So this is what I end up with. Here is my piece of Whisper White cardstock. I have my Pear Pizzazz ink and I'm going to start by stamping that stem on the left side, kind of picturing where my daisy will end up on the top. And then we will re-ink this stem and we're going to stamp it. I'm going to move it a little bit lower and turn it just a little bit for my smaller daisy. So then we'll put that right along the side to the bottom. And I will also add in Pear Pizzazz ink the fern image, and that's going to go right alongside to the left, and it's actually going to hang off of my cardstock a little bit. And now I'm going to do my daisies. So I have two pieces of Whisper White cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp my large daisy and my smaller or the medium daisy onto the cardstock with Daffodil Delight ink. Little trick with the daisies is if you make sure that you have one of the petals pointing straight down, they will line up nicely with your punch, and they are symmetrical, so you don't have to really worry about turning your image around to make it line up into your punch. But as I went to go punch this out, I noticed that my cardstock was a little bit too short. And so I've taken one of my very favorite tips and I've added a piece of Post-it note paper. And it just works kind of like a little handle that I can manipulate my image and make sure it lines up in my punch when I punch out those daisies. So I'm actually stacking my daisies, so I have stamped and cut out two additional daisies, another medium and another large, and I'm using mini glue dots to place those together or to glue those together. I do want to turn them so that they are not right on top of each other. I want to give it a little bit more fullness by rotating them a little bit, and then you can see that you make a fuller daisy. Okay, so now I'm going to take my assembled daisies and glue them to the top of the stems using mini glue dots. And I will just do just like I did when I layered them and pull in the mini glue dots and put those down. I'm going to put the smaller daisy over the lower stem. I'm also going to pull in one of my piercing tools, and I'm just going to give those little daisy petals a little bit of a curl. It's going to add a little bit more texture and dimension to this. Now, it might have been a little easier if I would have done it before I put it down on my cardstock, but I decided to do it after. So let's stamp that sentiment from that Ornate Thanks set. I'm using Mint Macaron, and I'm pulling in a Stampin' Pierce pad because this is a photopolymer stamp set. You will usually have a better image if you stamp over a Stampin' Pierce pad like I did here. I did cut my cardstock ahead of time and all the paper sizes are on my blog, but you notice it was a pretty tight fit and I managed to do it. I was able to line that image up pretty well because it is a photopolymer stamp set. So I'm just gluing that down to the card front. And I'm leaving space underneath the thank you and above the cut edge so that I can use my Poppy Parade to stamp my sentiment. I decided to pull in Poppy Parade with this. I liked the little contrast of the bright color with the daisy and the mint macaron background. So that'll fit right underneath. This stamp set has so many great sentiments to work with, the sentiments, the thanks, and the so grateful. I know you will find one for whatever reason that you need or whatever occasion you need. I decided to use my liquid glue because there's a lot of texture on that card front, and this will be a little bit easier when I'm sticking that to that textured front. I'm going to use some of the gold faceted gems for the centers of my flowers, the small one and then the largest one. Again, these work perfect for the centers of these daisies. They also come in clear in the annual catalog. I have the Peaceful Poppies sequins, so I'm using the dark red poppies, the sequins, the darker red sequins, and I'm just going to add a little more pop of red towards the top of the card and then around the flowers so that your eye will be drawn up and around. Use some of the fine tip glue to glue those in place. Okay, so there is my Ornate Thanks card, and you can see the difference between the one that I did with the ornate borders and then the one where I substituted the Magnolia die for the bottom. So it is the very beginning of April and these ornate borders are on low quantity. This is another option that you can do with the border. It's the flower one from the border dies. So if you are interested in them, you want to check it out today. Otherwise, they will be back in very soon, or you can substitute a different border edge for the ornate border dies. So check out this Ornate Garden Suite. It is on pre-order right now. It will be in the upcoming 2020-2021 annual catalog. And if you have any questions, contact me, Chris@mystamplady.com.